Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. This is the Gameweek 15 deadline stream on Saturday morning, Malaysian time. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome Azmin to the stream. It has been a while since we meet up, man.
Yeah, I guess because we weren't able to do the midweek stream due to our personal reasons. So yeah, and I'm upset because I don't know. Maybe if I had, maybe if we were able to do it, maybe things would have been differently. But instead, I got a shocking red arrow, and of course, not captaining Haaland is one big mistake that we had. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, but the good thing is that only 2 days, today's already the next game week, so we don't have to get too upset and just look
Yeah,
forward to getting back to a green arrow.
like Azmin mentioned, both of us on red arrow. Myself from 146k dropping to 347, right, to 100,000 dropping in terms of rank. All because we both don't captain Haaland and we decided to captain Manchester United assets, which will what happened to our team. But there's some players who are performing from game week 14, of which a lot of transfer in and out activity will involve those players, of which we will take have a look later. I mean,
Yep.
so
Yep.
so
Let's do
that's what
this.
happened in week 14 after the two days experience. I think at least, yeah, like you mentioned, upset only for this, then come back to game week 15 because this is a quick turnaround. And pretty much this is what's going to happen for the next coming weeks in December and January, of which there's a lot of deadline will happen in this period.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a very busy month, and I did mention, I did say at in November that this is the time we really need to consolidate. So for people like myself who are still in the millions, this is the time where we really need to accelerate and optimize our transfers to get up to at least below 1 million. Whereas yourself, of course, just keep climbing higher and higher.
Right. Try ourselves a quick look at our teammate. 50 points and 49 points. And the average point was 58. So if you're Captain Haaland, like myself, I captain Bruno Fernandes, you captain Mbomo. Bruno got 4 points. So Haaland got 14, 10 points different there. And for yourself, you have Mbomo at 2 points. So 12 points, the Bezer, if they see me. But we know a lot of managers captain Haaland, but there are also some, especially on content creator who decided to go different, has potential. United against West Ham. Bruno scored double digit, 11 points, 12 points until there in game week 13. We decided to go there at home. But what happened? United disappoint, drew with West Ham 1-1 and blank for most of the United asset. So, Min, talk to about your team. You're on mute.
Yeah. Yeah. I was so having captain. When I tried to make that captain decision, to be fair, I was really unsure where to go. Now this is one. This is and I did, and of course because it was a shorter deadline, we only had a few days. So I was struggling to figure out who to captain, and I decided against captaining Haaland purely on the basis of that if Haaland had. In my head, a scenario was running. If Haaland had blanked, it's going to be a very frustrating long wait to see who, and hoping that no one else scores, which turned out to be the bad reason. As then it became Haaland scoring, and then we were hoping that our players would do well instead, and that just crashed. So it's a pretty poor week for me. But Munoz came to the fore, 14 points, which was that really helped save, as he's the top scorer for my team. If you don't count Haaland, of course, who had 1 goal and 2 assists. If you look at my keeper, I made this decision to field Dubravka instead of Donnarumma. Donnarumma is playing Fulham, but it was just I had such a bad feeling about City's defense, and it's like, okay, because otherwise it's obvious. Of course, you feel Donnarumma,
Yeah.
but I was looking at it and then looking at what is going on, Is and I and right a couple of maybe 1 hour before the deadline or even less, I actually made that decision to swap Dubravka to Dubravka. Now, of course, it only gave me additional 2 points, but I'd like to take that as a little victory because of that bad feeling I had that City are going to not do well. Although, to be fair, I didn't expect them to let in 4 goals. Who did?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy. What a crazy match that was,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Four,
yeah.
four,
And,
four, five. You know.
yeah, yeah. And to be frank, if I got Donnarumma in,
Yep.
I easily gonna play him. But congrats because you made that decision, a tough decision for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's 2 points. Although unfortunately, on my other benching decisions looks like it was wrong. Bowen managed to get an assist, playing against United, and Ballard also managed to get 2 DEFCON. Yeah, so
Okay.
the worst game for me was I felt was the Bournemouth Everton game where I thought it would turn into a goal fest because I had Lewis because I thought it would turn the goal fest because both teams had key players suspended in the center of the park. You had Gay on Everton's side suspended, and and they got trashed last weekend, if you remember. Then at the same time, you had on the Bournemouth side, Senesi was suspended. Cook also
Mhm.
suspended. So I thought it's going to be a goal fest. So I thought, play Semenyo and Dewsbury Hall should be fine, and that didn't happen at all. It turned out to be a very very tight game, and Everton recording their a victory at Bournemouth, which was something
Yeah,
that they had not been able to do for so long. So does raise questions about Bournemouth's abilities. Is because they have been on a slump. If you remember, at one point they were second in the league, and now they've dropped into the second half of the table. It's crazy the slump that Bournemouth have had. So that's something to consider. So all in all, I got 49 points. Umbuemo captain, nothing. And I did actually wake up to watch. Yeah,
oh,
I my
that that's
my
another level.
didn't set the alarm, but when I woke up, randomly it was about 4:15, and I said, okay, let me watch the match, and it was not great. There were
Oh,
the game was not great. There were some chances, but not few and far between. And then when Cunha went off, was subbed off,
oh.
I posted on media, whoo, CS locked. And it turned out me celebrating that was great because then United proceeded to concede anyway. So yeah, and there goes uh, Fernandez clean sheet, Mbeumo clean sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Ah,
very disappointing. And yeah, I took a look. And the safety score was supposed to be about 60 plus. Yeah, so if I had the balls to field Ballard, but yeah, like I normally do for some, but I benched him this time around. Yeah, so it would have been better. But when I look at that, because I had Newcastle Tiao going against who they play against? I can't remember. Spurs. Spurs. They play against Spurs. I thought Spurs were having problems attacking, but yeah, Romero, Romero decides
no
to
way.
turn
Oh,
into
no.
Messi. So I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Timber getting benched. We both of us had Timber. He was benched, which was very frustrating with Arsenal. And of course, the last person which I want to talk about is Thiago getting benched. So it was really frustrating on my side because I was on all social media saying Brentford is going to get something against Arsenal. Yeah,
Oh,
but when I woke up in the morning and I saw the results and then looked at the lineup, no wonder they didn't get anything. Thiago was benched, Collins was benched, Damsgaard was benched, Henderson benched. It was a nightmare. Unlike Arsenal who can afford to bench a bit more, they bench Timber, a couple of other players as well. When Brentford benches players, the quality will drop significantly. So yeah, that is my only the only real frustrating part of that the week was really that one, the Brentford Arsenal match, which I really expected Brentford to get something.
well,
So yeah,
this is
my rant's
this.
over.
Yeah. So this is what we can expect this month. Even the
Yes.
smaller club also deciding to rotate the team to give some freshness, also at the same time give some minutes to the players because there are a lot of matches going to happen this game week. And for myself, I did two free transfer last week. I brought in Timber, who, like you mentioned, decided to be benched, and also Minte.
Bloody
over
Arteta.
Ismail Assar and Gabriel, who definitely already injured since Gameweek 13, but I decided to hold on and decided what, and this week give me a clearer picture. I go with the Arsenal defense. His price risen to 6.4 million now. Wow, mahal nak beli sekarang. I don't know how I decided that, but that's what the money that I have spent for Jordan Timber. And Minter is the cheaper version of Ismail Issa, you can call it 6.2. I got the money and I decided to roll free transfer this week. I have 2 free transfer to use this week. Like I just mentioned to everyone, is the FCON transfer for that 5 free transfer will happen after Gameweek 15. So you need to use up all your free transfer this week. If not, you're going to waste it or you decided to burn it, depending on how you see it. But it's an opportunity to clear on it. Or maybe taking some pan this week, of which I think Azmin already has something in mind for this week. Okay?
Okay.
So,
All right. So before we move on, I just want to point out that the prices have moved, and so if you haven't done anything, you still you have to accept it. So price rises is Van Heck. Foden went up more. I think a lot of people have been going on for Foden after he back-to-back braces, right? Yeah, Lemons, the keeper. There's suddenly a rush for Manchester United keeper, maybe against Wolves. Yeah, I think I can see why that went, because Wolves are really having struggles to score. Don't worry, Wolves. If you're struggling to score, Manchester United is coming up, and of course Walter. Sorry, I cannot. I say that with tongue in cheek because Liverpool are doing exactly the same thing. So not. So and then the last price increase is Walter Mede, also going up. So yeah, which is someone I've considered, but in the end I still haven't gone for him yet. In terms of price fallers, the key people, Caicedo, Mbuemo has dropped to 8.5. And Strand Larsen dropped to 6.2. So those are the key price takers. So now you, if you haven't made any moves yet, now you can relax and you have more time to look at the rest of your transfers. Me, I definitely, if I want to sell Mbuemo, I've already lost a bit because I have him at 8.0 and he was at 8.6, so I'm definitely not able to sell at 8.3. If I want to sell him, I have to sell at 8.2. So those are the things that we have to, the impact. But I'm not too fast. I thought about it or doing it before we started the show. I figured, I need more time to think. I haven't made a decision yet.
Last but not least, I just want to touch on the Crystal Palace defense. If you had Gael, if you have Munoz this week, you got 14 points from those players. But myself, I go with the Richards, the cheaper one. I only get 9 points there. So,
well, this is a perfect argument of you get what you paid for. The more expensive,
that's
the
right,
more.
that's right.
Richards, who's higher, Guay or Munoz?
Both at the 14 point. I think both at 14
okay.
point.
There you go. Yeah. It's okay.
So,
I mean, the theory is that you spend your funds elsewhere and get points. Well,
so means that lah. You spend more, you get more.
Yeah.
So, but for myself, thinking I should have spent more, right? If I know these players are performing for the Crystal Palace defense, guys, keep ticking. That's all I can say.
Just keep ticking. Yeah, correct. And I never see comments about Munoz. He's turning into vintage Trent Alexander-Arnold at this rate. So we'll see the rate he's going. I'm happy I got him in, but yeah, still but again, as we say, let's see how the congestion works for Palace.
With Gabriel injury, he are not going to play for the past few weeks for sure. Munoz and Gael already overtaken Gabriel as the most scored in terms of defenders. Munoz at 89 points and Gael at 83 points. Defense. So those are the top 3 players after Haaland. Can you imagine Haaland, Munoz and Gael? So I can't imagine I'm getting 2 Crystal Palace defense, but these points are just laughing at me. You should have done that move, Hafiz. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I have 2 double-digit players to help shore up the rest of my rubbish team. But doubling up is always, we did this with Arsenal. And those who still had a double up, for example, Timber and Raya, they got returns last week because Brentford failed to score.
Raya lah, Timber 1 point.
Raya, yeah. Oh no, sorry, not Timber. Raya. So yeah, that's the problem because the other options are a bit not sure. And even Timber, who we all thought was going to be the fails, is very unlikely because Ben White has only played one game all season,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
thought it was really. Then suddenly he does indeed come in, so we
yeah.
can't rule it out basically. And as what we said at the start of before December started, we have to accept that this is going to happen. We can rant about it all we want, but it can
Sure.
happen the unexpected unless you're Bruno Fernandes or yeah. So yeah, who
Okay.
is shocked?
So
Yeah.
I guess we just need to bear, and it is important for us to have some spare players at our bench that gonna able to play and just come in just in case this happen, right?
I
Okay,
just
man.
one last thing before we move on. I just happy that I got rid of Van der Ven because he got zero again because he didn't start.
Man, you did first.
I just wanted to get because he's been annoying me so much, holding on to him just because of that brace of his that he did, but in the end I got Tiao who only scored 1 point, but hey, I just feel a bit more relieved. Okay, that's it. Move on.
Before we
Let's move
before
on.
we go to the Gameweek 15 fixtures and presser,
Yep, let's
I'm
go.
just
Let's go.
gonna just share the perspective of FPL schedule in December and January. For the next 38 days, we have 8 deadline, counting that gave him 14, and you can see here from this chart. As every week we have some deadline that we need to be aware, especially this week, game week 15. Okay, after that we got 5 transfer. Then the second chip will be available. After that, gaming 90 deadline will be on 30th December, something like that. And there's a lot of deadline that we need to be aware of, and just make sure that potential rotation can happen at any time, especially the teams who are involved in Europe.
Yeah, it's very yeah, it really helps actually. I saw this this graphic a while back, and I felt, oh, this actually really helps to see. It's just like a normal calendar view, but it does
Mm-mm.
give you I mean it's especially useful this season because of the changes to the rules, like the 5 additional transfers, the additional chips. So especially in terms of those using chips, and I can guarantee you there will be some who forget to use, or who by game week 16 realize they have 2 more chips and they can only play 1 more, for example. So that's a problem. And I wouldn't be surprised if on game week 19 people are playing the bench boost despite not preparing the team for the bench boost because they ran out of time. So yeah. So for you, you still have triple
We
captain?
both left. We both left with triple captain
Okay.
decision.
Yeah. So
That's all.
so at the moment I'm looking at game week 17 for it, but which is
Yes, so
Haaland, back to Haaland, but let's see.
but we shall see whether I have a feeling if triple captain can be this week, but most likely will be 17. All right, let's take a look at the fixture for game week 15. What will in store for us this week? Will be kick off at Saturday, 7 p.m. will be the deadline. And so 8:30 p.m. Malaysian time, Aston Villa at home against Arsenal. So both teams are excellent right now, especially also Aston Villa. They are rising up in the top 4, top 5 right now. So
Undated.
nothing. Yep. Right. So nothing can be taken lightly in terms of Villa. I can still remember at the beginning of the season, they really in a bad form. They are at the bottom, and now they are climbing up ladder at at the bottom, sorry, top of the table right now. Then at 11 p.m., we have 5 fixture there. Bournemouth versus Chelsea. Chelsea also desperate for points. They lost to Leeds United last week. Bournemouth also lost at home, so both are pretty looking at some points this week. Everton versus Forest. Forest did manage to salvage a win against Wolves, but Everton also can be excellent at their own turf. Hill Dickerson. City going to continue their resurgent form for sure. The Haaland, the Foden facing Sunderland, but it's not an easy meet. Sunderland already proved away to Liverpool, now at City. Okay. And then Newcastle versus Burnley. You mentioned about Newcastle assets are rising up in terms of price because these are the best entry point you can do. Because Newcastle are facing Burnley. And then Spurs versus Brentford, London Derby, Spurs, they have some fighting spirit to get that 2 goals against Newcastle. So can they continue at home? Their home form are very bad right now. So can Brentford, especially the owner of Thiago, maybe there are some space to get some points from this game. And then Leeds United versus Liverpool. Leeds won against Chelsea. Can they do that again? Liverpool with Liverpool? We shall see. That's an interesting game. And Brighton versus West Ham. on paper, West Ham did manage to get a draw
A draw.
against United, who are expecting United to get 3 clear points, but this can be a dangerous game if, let's say, Brighton take lightly. They lost 3-4 against Villa at home last week. And then we have Fulham versus Crystal Palace. Super Sunday, not so interesting match. Fulham versus Palace, but that is what it's going to be because a lot of other teams are involving in the Champions League and the Conference
Yeah.
League and the Europa League next week. And we close off on Monday night. Another Monday night for Manchester United away to Wolves. A tricky one or is an easy one to keep those Manchester United players. All right, man. Game week fixture. Any takeaways?
Yeah, definitely the Aston Villa Arsenal match really goes away, and I was talking to some Arsenal fans, and they were worried that this was one of those matches where they could potentially get points taken off, and we've seen that. But the problem now is that Arsenal came off a win against Brentford, and they did it fairly comfortably, even though it's only 2-0. So while we're resting, players like Saka and Timber were benched, so they will definitely be ready to come to full strength, and they didn't suffer for it midweek. And then Aston Villa had what a rock and roll coming off a rock and roll match, where and Watkins delivered with 2 goals. So it is perfect for this. It's a perfect time. The only thing that makes it not so perfect is that it's the early match where everything tends to slow down, and you don't get a blockbuster fast match. And considering there was also a midweek match, so this could be a very low score, end up to be a low scoring match, 0-0, 0-1, that kind of match. I want to point out Bournemouth versus Chelsea. As you say just now, they were both coming off losses. For Bournemouth, there is a bit of a slide that's really starting to worry Iraola. On the Chelsea side, they got ambushed by Leeds United with DCL scoring of all people as well, and it was a mess up. Hafiz, you saw the match. Yeah. I don't know. Tosin needs to Tosin needs to get lost. Yeah, I don't know who is he yelling or blaming. It is his fault, and who's the guy on his right? I can't remember who was. But yeah, for not just clearing the ball because the players are so close. Sanchez, and I can't blame Sanchez for that one. Sanchez like, what the hell is going on? so so in terms of match, both are losing their key midfield. Okay, Lewis Cook is back, but now Tyler Adams is out for Bournemouth. And on Chelsea, Caicedo is still serving his ban. So okay, I got this wrong last time because with Bournemouth Everton, I thought it'd be goal fest. It didn't turn out to be, so I don't know about this one. It could turn out to be the same thing. Spurs versus Brentford, you pointed out, it's a London derby again, and Spurs have been horrible at home. So I know people were thinking of bringing Thiago the following week, but I think this week is good. It's just as good because especially if you have transfers to use before next week. As you know, game week 16 you get 5 free transfers. So if you just want to reshape or rejig your team, I think Thiago at here is a decent entry point already. And Newcastle Burnley, that is the match to
the Moneyball game.
The Moneyball game that we expect, because City Sunderland doesn't look like a Moneyball game as we originally thought it was at the start of the season. So, but Newcastle Burnley, it's looking very dire for Burnley at the moment. And with Newcastle's goal scoring ability, I think they're gonna be able to trash. Speaking of Moneyball games, you have the Wolves Manchester United, but Manchester United have this. I don't know. I marked this last week and this last game week. Wolves and West Ham and the Wolves. You think it's perfect times to get 2 points, and which is why a lot of us went for captaining Manchester United. So that didn't happen. So it's very frustrating to see, and people like me are already thinking, what made me think of doubling up on Manchester United? What was I thinking? Because that has happened. So this Wolves game, I think Wolves are looking at that at home, this opportunity to find a way, but then they can't seem to score, and that's really looking bad. Yeah. So So you would still back Manchester United. I
Yep.
doubt anyone is going to. Uh, I'm pretty sure everyone's learned a lesson. Not captain Manchester United player, even though it's against Wolves. But still, you would think that this is a game that Manchester United should win.
Yep.
Um, so yeah.
Agree.
One more Leeds Liverpool. Oh God, as a Liverpool fan, you would think that right now we're in middle of the stretch where Liverpool are supposed to have easy fixtures. While they didn't win last week, midweek, they still managed to draw against Sunderland, and Leeds are coming off a high, trashing Chelsea 3-1. So you're going to be out for it. So I thought at Gameweek 15 is going to be a time entry point to bring in my Liverpool players. I've retreated. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm just Let's wait what happens now that Salah is going to leave for AFCON soon.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, those who still have Salah, sure, keep him. I wouldn't captain him though, especially he's been benched the last two games. But you would think that surely he will play. Surely he will start. He can't be benched 3 games in a
Surely,
row.
yeah.
That's
Right.
insane. That's insane. Two benches in a row was unthinkable, but three weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
We
yeah.
shall see whether there will be a third row. We shall see. Yeah. All right, Ben. Let's go to
Yeah.
the team news and pressure from managers. We start with the Villa versus Arsenal. We know there's some certain assets from Arsenal, especially people are concerning of in terms of injury. So can you just talk to a bit on the team news?
Okay, so really is about Villa with Martinez picking up an injury in the previous match, the blockbuster match. So we'll see what happens, but at the moment we don't know. But of course, Aston Villa would need him, really want him to be fit. The other, I can't remember what the other guy's name is. But yeah, he's probably not. This is a high pressure class against Arsenal. They would like Martinez to be there.
Oh,
In
Bizot,
terms of
something like that. Something like that.
Giza, okay, yeah. So in terms of the lineup, yeah, uh, with no Ross Barkley, so question of whether Buendia will start or then Marlon. So Watkins has got to start now. He's with 2 goals. You would think that there's no reason to bench him, push him, and keep him firing. On the Arsenal side, Arteta again doing his dance of the injury news thing and never telling anything properly. Um, so non-committal on Declan Rice, who's came off late. So uh, Rice will play. Okay, this Arteta's bullshit. So sorry. Then Christian Mosquera's ankle injury was more complicated. So yeah, that's I believe that. The only problem is that yeah, they're running out of centre backs, are they? Yeah,
Hmm.
so it cause issue. But um, arguably we could have Timber at centre back and Ben
Then
White
what?
continuing at right back. Yeah, because Timber is by definition centre back, so he shouldn't be a problem there.
Okay. All right.
And we've seen against Brentford that they were capable of keeping a clean sheet, still capable. Um, then Saliba Trossard, a matter of days from returning. That means they're not going to be back. That's my interpretation of it. A matter of days. I didn't say this the last game week, so yeah. I don't think they're going to be back. So yeah, but
Okay.
yeah.
Like you mentioned, Ben White and Timber can play alongside together. So there could be an opportunity
Yes.
here if they say Muscular is out. So I do feel Arsenal is still a strong side despite all these potential injury. But it's a Villa which of form. It could be a tight one, 2-1, 1 year. Could be that
Got-
how the
It's a
result.
chance for Timber to get DEFCON if he's going to play a centre back. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah, one of those rare moments.
yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of picking up players for this one, I wouldn't pick up anyone because he could really taper. I mean, if you have your Sakas and your Timbers, you keep, but
Mhm.
picking up now it's like not with Villa at third and really gaining up steam.
All right. Next game, each year's Bournemouth versus Chelsea. You mentioned about both teams are desperate for points. We know Bournemouth are facing some issues, but there are also some people are returning. So what's the latest news, mean?
Yep. So Senesi and Brooks returning for session. Brooks, yeah, sure, but because Brooks then has to fight it out with this Adli, budak Melayu Adli.
Adli, yeah.
So who has had some good returns even though despite Bournemouth not doing well. So Senesi comes back. So Mr. Defcon is back. So it makes sense for you guys to against Chelsea, sure, no reason not to. Lewis Cook still unavailable. I got this wrong. Just now early on I mentioned Lewis Cook should be back, but no, he's still not available. On his NSC is. And Adams now. So that's the that midfield weakened even more. It's insane. So I don't know. So on the Chelsea side, Caicedo suspended, and we saw what happened with Caicedo getting suspended. Reece James, who was rested in midweek,
Mm.
should return, and I think he's going to be great at the center of park. The impact, as we saw with Caicedo being suspended, is because Enzo has to play further deep in, so making him not a great pick for now until Caicedo finishes his suspension. And at the same time, more importantly, Palmer appeared as a
Yeah.
substitute. He played 18, 19 minutes or something midweek. Didn't help Leeds in terms of didn't manage to win the game for Leeds, but for Chelsea. But he had a couple of attempts, and I think one of the attempts he got it was unfortunate. But yeah, uh, so that's a dynamic for you long term that we could see Palmer come back, which will help, assuming he returns to form quickly.
All right. I just want to point out, as much as people are writing off Bournemouth asset, especially maybe this is not the best time, you can move on. So I do feel, okay, as much as Chelsea is my club, Bournemouth is a team that can play with a big team, and they can we can see last season they perform when they face some big team like City, Chelsea, and so on. So I won't write off in terms of their assets. The better their challenges, I think their team can perform. So I think we just need to stick. Petrovic is a Chelsea, ex-Chelsea keeper, so he definitely has some motivation to play against his old club to show that he's could be a, a better keeper than Sanchez, suppose. But this is the best for Petrovic. And at the same time, Bournemouth missing some players, but I think at least the Brooks and also Senesi return will strengthen their team. Chelsea, you mentioned, you are correct. With Casedo missing, Enzo are dropping Reaper, and if they say Palmer coming back, slowly but surely, Palmer will be the main man back. So maybe it is time to move Enzo off. So that can be another potential scenario that we are looking at. All right. So that's Bournemouth and Chelsea. Next game, Everton versus Forest. So Everton, despite losing at one point, when is it? The big one. After that guy, 4-1 against, is it Newcastle? And then coming off a victory with Bournemouth. So both team also, I think especially Forest, with Leeds winning, so they are pretty much still at the bottom right now. They want a win, but it's a tough match for both. What do you think, Min, in terms of the team news?
Yeah, so I didn't expect Everton to win last week, but they did. So there's some credit to their resilience away. Not sure whether Michael Keane returns. That means he's out lah. Yeah, Moyes is not that great in terms of that, so he's out. That irresponsible team, Iraq Bunam, now getting himself suspended, and knowing that Ghana is also suspended. This guy is such a bad footballer lah. Given another chance and still screws it up. But and it means Everton are very light, at least in terms of that defensive midfield. So how Everton is going to, definitely those with KDH he definitely be forced to the back, playing a
Mm.
more deeper role as well. So which is not great. I'm not happy with that. Thanks a lot, Tim. Then he had, and so yeah, Forest Murillo recovers quickly. So most of those who are injured are still going to be injured. People like Aina, for example, who, as you remember, Aina and Murillo were really quickly, really part of last year's Forest power defense. So Murillo recovers quickly. I think he will come back. Yeah, but I think more Gibbs White looks like he's still out. I think. I'll get back to you on that one. But Jesus is a perfect opportunity for Jesus as Forest main striker right now to get goals against Everton, because with that central midfield being very light, I think it's a chance for Forest to take more points and continue the recovery. So I think Forest might be able to the apple cart here and knock off Everton.
Interesting, interesting. With King missing in the heart of the defense, O'Brien should come in from the Predator lineup. You mentioned about who's gonna Shaw into on it. Dewsbury Hall could come in the deeper role. They mentioned India could this be his last match before going to AFCON? But we heard some story that they can play up to 16, so we can confirm that. But this could be the last one
Which
or the
player?
last.
Which player? Sorry.
India will be going to
Ndiaye.
AFCON.
Okay. It'll be
So,
interesting who gets the penalties when Ndiaye goes to AFCON. I
ooh,
mean, it makes me want to keep KDH, but
it
Grealish
could be,
might still
it
be
could be,
there.
it could be right. I don't
Yeah,
think Jack Grealish right. I
I
don't
don't
think so.
know, but I'm pretty sure last time he take penalties for Villa. He may well have. Yeah, so I can't remember. I'll see
Interesting.
if I can find that out.
But if let's say it's KDH, wow, excellent, and his already price already risen to 5.0.
Yeah, his price has finally got back to his 5.0 price, starting price.
Right, City versus Sunderland. Is there any indication from Pep who's going to play this game?
Yeah, looks like everyone's fit, and that kind of sucks for City. Aside from Rodri and Kovacic, lah. Everyone else is fit, and that's because for example, you got O'Reilly versus Ryan Aitnuri. Although O'Reilly has been in great form, you would think that
Hmm.
uh, uh, Ryan Aitnuri, unless Pep cares about him, Aitnuri a bit and wants to give him minutes for before he goes to Afcon. I don't know if he thinks at
Ooh,
all. I don't think whether he cares. Maybe he doesn't. Um, but
something he
I
cares.
but will they wary of running O'Reilly to the ground? I don't know. So yeah, that's that might be dangerous. So let's see. So like City, Sunderland also has no new injuries, so they're fine as well. Sunderland, as you know, came off a 1-1 draw against Liverpool, conceding a bit late. Uh, so this one will be, I think, I think right now the general perception is that we think this is not going to be as straightforward as it looks because Sunderland are quite resilient in defense, but then it still expects City to win, judging by
Yep.
the captaincies on back on Haaland, coming back on Haaland. You would think that this is a match that City should win. Um, and
Yeah,
at the
so
same time, you have the Fodens, those the new Foden owners. Make your say and looking at who, because when you have Haaland and Foden, that means you expect this game to be a high scoring game. Otherwise, why would you bring in Foden?
yep, yep. At least the next later we can take a look on the fixture because City also has some excellent fixture.
Oh yes, please. Yeah.
But may I remind, Azmin remind me because Foden has burned me before, right? That Man City is still under Pep, and Pep always rotate his player, especially to freshen up the team. So there potentially one or two benches can happen in this December period. So we just need to manage the expectation. So I think that's the correct thing. And I won't be surprised, like you mentioned, me. Pep just bagi Chan, Anuri last match before his go off AFCON. Then after that, O'Reilly can play all the game. After that, I actually uh, take a look at the Man City fixture. What's going to happen? They will have a midweek game against Real Madrid Champions League, and it's an important one, I feel. And they're playing away, so there is potentially, if they say the likes Foden, Haaland play and then come off early, if they say City has already scored 2 goals, 3 goals, something like that. So I feel that situation can happen. So
I noticed you avoiding mentioning the possibility that someone might even get benched in preparation for the
yeah,
midweek
yeah,
match.
yeah, yeah.
But it is a Pep side, so we that you can't ignore that possibility is there. But having said that, let's face it, at the end of the day, when you pick a player like Foden, it is for the long term. So
Yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
happens,
We have
you have to deal with it. I just do one quick shout out to my son Zafran who prepared a nice hot Nutella sandwich for me. House bursting. I realize I haven't really had breakfast yet. So okay, keep going. So I'll be munching around, but I'll mute my
Right. I
mute
would
when
like
I
to
munch.
welcome Hafiz. Has been a while since meeting him. He actually Foden for the win. So I guess he's already locked in terms of Foden into his team. All right, good stuff. Let's go to next one. Newcastle Burnley. Also, a lot of attention. People going to get Newcastle assets. What's the latest news been for both teams?
So Tonali getting a scan given every chance, so it means that there is a possibility he might be fit. But we know that he still hasn't played yet, so a decision on his involvement will be taken after training. So the fact that he says things like that, it means it's very he definitely won't start if he's back. So holders of Walter Mende will um not have to worry. And given how long it's taking, Wisa will definitely take minutes off Walter Mende, but it won't be that much. They'll probably start maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So
One Visa going to AFCON? No.
no, he's not. Yeah, he was not listed in the squad, so he's
Okay.
because of these injury issues. Yeah, no
Okay.
point going in and play intensive and then got crashed out again. Yeah. So I think they did work with Newcastle and then in the best interest of the player, he's not going. So okay. So on the Burnley side, I'm not sure if we care. A good physically rotate some type bodies, but nothing substantial lah, except for the long
Okay.
term. And
Right.
Twanzebe is still out. So this is one where we see Bruno Gomares quietly rack up some double digit scores. In the past 7 weeks, he's racked up three. And he scored. So it's a case of you know I did some look at previous matches. It definitely looks like he's been given the license opportunity to go further forward and be involved in the attack a lot more. And his price is 6.7 million, I think,
Yep.
which is not cheap, but still affordable if you want to get into this Newcastle. I think Newcastle will play Burnley twice in the next 6 weeks. They
Yeah,
play
five.
them
Yeah,
again.
five. Yes,
We'll
yes.
look at the fixture list later. Yeah, so I can see the
Hey,
allure in bringing Newcastle in. Yeah,
I just want to point out, we discussed offline, Bruno G, midweek rest. So he definitely fire up for this game. And some stats for you, man. For the past 4 home matches, Bruno G score is 14, 10, 10, 7. There you go. So this could be another double digit haul against Lee. But I just want to remind you, Dubravka returning to his old club and Pope is out. So can you imagine, as FPL, I have Pope and Dubravka. Pope, I don't have transfer to the in, so I need to play Dubravka. That could be a situation. So I just want to put the narrative for this game.
I think with Ramsdale is yeah. I mean, there's a lot of question about whether he deserves he's good enough as keeper anymore. Played in a relegation team and got relegated, that kind of thing. But I think it should be fine. I think Burnley's attack is nowhere there. They need to do something at the transfer window. Or it's curtains for
Okay.
Burnley.
Next game, Spurs versus Brentford. We know Brentford lost to Arsenal, but Spurs also managed to salvage a goal. Romero with 17 points. You mentioned about Van der Ven 23 points a few weeks back, where they also scored a brace. Van der Ven missed a game during the midweek against Newcastle. Heard that he's rested. So what's the latest news?
So no real issues for both teams really. In terms of injuries, so it should be interesting. Of course, we know that Spurs have been they don't like playing at home. They're just crazy. You would expect Van der Ven to return to the starting lineup as well. I can't see him not be, especially after they conceded two. Um, Romero coming off a brace but not winning. I'm sure it must be very frustrating for him. Then Brentford, Thiago, who we saw was benched, together with Collins, Henderson, and Damsgaard. So these are four core players. So they should all come back for this week, and So it's fine. It's a good match. The one thing about Spurs, and I think you pointed it out for one of the early Arsenal earlier, is that Spurs also have their Champions League match to worry about.
Hmm.
So it's also um, something that should weigh on everyone's minds. And they play at home. They play against Slavia Praha, which arguably is not one of the
Okay.
greatest teams, but still, you can't ignore that.
All right. So in terms of Brentford, we expect Thiago to return and play in the starting lineup. Same goes for Van der Ven, like we mentioned. So no worries. I just want to point out, mungkin you mentioned about some of the players, the key players like Damsgaard and so on, rested during Arsenal. Maybe there's some merit. Kiss Andrew also need to manage it. And Arsenal game, pretty much they expect to lose, right? So why not concentrate in this kind of game that they have potential to win? I just want to say
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah. So given that the return to full strength is significant enough, I do think Brentford is gonna trash Spurs, even away. Uh, yeah, because they are more rested and their key players are rested. Yeah.
All right, fair. Let's go to the next one, which is Leeds versus Liverpool, your club main. So we know there's some players also doubt from the Leeds United set, but we also heard that some players from Liverpool also returning. So what's the latest news?
Okay, so James Longstaff, so Longstaff medium term absentee, and now DCL is who has now scored back to back goals, which is crazy. And Mecha just is now a doubt as well. So it doesn't look great for the Leeds. However, they did. Let's not forget they did win against Chelsea midweek. Yeah. So Liverpool Bradley trained this week should be in the squad. So I think Bradley will start and come off early because to take care of him and not be too hasty because we can't keep having Soboslai there at the end of the day. Yeah. He's capable enough, but that's not where he belongs. Gomez started in midweek, so hopefully he's also available. We know then you have Konate and Van Dijk lah as well. Van Dijk who's really off form at the moment, so needs some work.
But he still managed to get 4 points last week. So people mention about
Ye-
it just like FPL.
Yeah, but at the price he's at, come on, it's like Bruno Fernandes just getting in with his DEFCON and your VVD so high, you expect clean sheets. And this is a game where Salah should start. You thought he was should start last week, midweek, and he didn't. But I think it'll blow your mind if he doesn't start. And so the question is he gonna be angry enough to
Ooh.
whack Leeds? And it's quite possible.
Yep.
But yeah, for us to want to bring him in now, it requires some team restructuring, and after that we lose him back in 2 weeks' time. So there's not enough merit for it. I want to point out that I, I'm I'm thinking seriously about words. Of course,
Words.
he
Okay.
scored
All right.
he scored a goal only to be told that it was an own goal, which is frustrating. But
Is it on goal? Oh,
it's
okay.
considered an own goal now because when you look at the trajectory of the ball and then the deflection it took,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
it
Just
became an
give
own
him the
goal.
goal, all right.
No, it reminds me of that Josh King guy got his goal disallowed, but this was worse. It became an own goal. But I do feel that Woods is a confidence player, and I think after that he will feel that he will consider it his goal lah, personally. So he's not going to be fussed about what the records say, and I think he will push on. And I think when Salah leaves, I think he may very well become much more important for
Mm.
Liverpool, and I think that is what's going to happen. And the question now, I wonder, will he just be the glue that gets everyone to score, or will he be involved in the scoring himself a lot more? And that's the part I need to decide. I want not for this week, but for next week. So this week will be the time where I get to see words
Okay.
because I am really considering words. I know it sounds crazy, but yes.
I like Liverpool, like others. Liverpool also are involved in Champions League, and they face away to Inter Milan. So just want to point out that to
Not
them
great
needs.
either. Yeah. So it's a tough one too.
All right, let's go to the next one, which is Brighton versus West Ham. Can West Ham salvage another point from this game? It will be an interesting one. But on paper, Brighton should win this game. So what's your latest news?
Yeah, Brighton is just one of those. Of course, they lost midweek against Villa in a blockbuster 3-4, and it goes to show because after before that they had been keeping clean sheets quite a bit. In the past, before last week's match, they had conceded 1 goal in 4 games. They kept clean sheets against Forest, against Crystal Palace of all teams, against Leeds United, and they conceded 1 goal against Brentford, only to get whacked 3-4. So 4 goals against Villa. But when you look at the quality of the position, you'd expect that for this week they should keep a clean sheet. West Ham's not exactly high scoring. In terms of injury, Mitoma Zedar after suffering a setback in training, this has become a joke to Brighton fans. It's like it's very close, very close. And then someone said, "Yeah, in February we're going to be saying very close," and that is what keeps happening. Herzler says that they're very close to it, close to it. Now doubts after setback in training, so forget about him. Brighton are capable without him. Welbeck didn't score for once. In that 3-0, it was a Paul Van Heck double. Crazy. That's why his price went up. People want to jump in, but come on, it's like Van der Ven in that sense. Okay, West Ham side. Lucas Paqueta. Those remember he got suspended midweek. Rather stupidly, actually. So he didn't play midweek because during the weekend, which I felt this is what happens when you can't keep your bloody mouth shut and or lose your emotions. This is the problem. Yeah, you can't. So then you have Ugo Julio ineligible to face his parent club. So what? Yeah, doesn't matter, does it? So West Ham, to West Ham's credit, they did manage that draw. So there is a bit of resilience, but they don't have the rhythm. And speaking as someone who's had Bowen and Dew for a while now, yeah, I can safely say, yeah, no, not the place to go. Yeah.
All right. Okay, good stuff. But at least Bowen's still ticking in terms of point, right? 5 points, 4 points, right? He got DEFCON at 1 point. DEFCON.
Gee, wow, I feel so much better.
All right. I do expect Brighton to win this game.
Yeah.
And I hope players like myself who have Minte or people who have Welbeck want to taste some of the points against West Ham. But you just never know. All right. Let's go to the next one. Fulham versus Crystal Palace. People say this is a boring game as a Super Sunday, but this could be an excellent game for Palace, especially who are also rising in terms of their league table. So, what's the latest news for both teams?
Okay, so no injury doubts for Marco Silva. No new injury doubts. So I think it's nice to see that they managed to overcome not having Robinson. Because I thought with Robinson, I just felt that with Robinson's injury, they're really gonna hurt. But that hasn't happened, fortunately. I mean, they've managed to find a way to attack and do well. And as we saw in the 4-5 one goal fest against City, looks like Robinson's gonna be much longer, not back before Christmas, so probably New Year. Ismaili Sarr remains out, so he made the point to mention how he has the extra day compared to Fulham in terms of recovery. So meaning that the likelihood of rotation might be less, and so I wouldn't worry about players like Mateta and Munet, and of course the entire Crystal Palace backline. This is another London derby, if you noticed. But this could be one of the tight ones. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I don't
it
mind
could
this
go
end
either
up
way.
with nil. I don't mind that.
I don't mind. As long as Bunos makes off with all 3 bonus points, I'm good. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Good stuff. I think Ismail Sarr is definitely out, and you should move him on if they say you still have him. He's going to go to FCOM anyway. That's why he's fit. So I think this could be the last. I think Palace should win this game on paper at least. All right. The last game, Wolves versus United. United should win this game, but I think it's going to be tricky. So what's the latest news for both teams?
Yeah, but Rob Edwards not looking promising really. Yeah, so much for that. Yeah, I mean, I don't. So it may come down to what they do in the transfer window. They need to find a way to score, which is crazy. The
I
biggest
think
news
can
for
we
me,
safely say that was going to be relegated? Either or 2 points, right? In
it's
the
crazy, right?
most likely.
And for me, the worst thing is that Juan Gomez, one of the better players, is also suspended. So it's looking bad right now. So further news, blah blah blah. No one, but I was like on the ground. Never mind that. So more about the United side. So Delight, who didn't start midweek, so they should be available and back. Dalot, who did start but then had to be subbed out, so we don't know what's going on there. Cunha finally came back, returned after the Christmas lights fun story, and but again didn't do much. Not very promising. But this week he plays his old club, so and he returns and it's away. So you'd think that he will want to a bit more motivated to score to show, but then because right now uh, I don't know how Wolves fans are gonna greet him for leaving, and or they might go against him because happy that he's not doing well yet. He's barely scored for Manchester United. But the thing with that, with we've seen with Cunha, that kind of treatment is what motivates him. He loves being the villain. So
So Cunha
so
returning back to his old club, right?
yes, that's right. Yeah. So as a villain, I wouldn't even put past him that if he does score, he's gonna celebrate. It's
Oh,
not. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. But yeah, it's you would expect this to be a win, and I think United assets owe us after what they did to us midweek. So I think this is one where they will win comfortably.
that's a
But they will concede. I
ah
think United will still concede. I think Wolves need help in scoring goals. Here comes Manchester United. Let us give you a hand. But
ah.
I see Manchester United winning.
So I feel the logic things to do is just keep your United assets, whether Mbomo, Cunha, or even Bruno Fernandes, and see out because you are expecting to keep against West Ham last week, midweek, and then Wolves, and then reassess. But I think if you have United assets, they are not involved in any European competition. They are out from Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
It should be excellent in terms of minutes in this December
Excellent.
game.
Which brings me to the point that you raised just before we started the stream. About Mbuemo now available for another week
Mm,
after this week. Yeah. So the following week they will play on Monday night as well again, I think, and they play
yeah.
against Bournemouth, which I think
Mm,
is still a decent match to do. So
okay.
so so yeah, I think it's worth keeping. I was considering selling. Now I'm changing my mind again. So let's see.
After Alphonse mentioned this, remember how Haaland blanked and then Hull in the next game? This time it's Bruno Fernandes. All right, I take your words.
So I assume you're captaining him then, Afas.
All right, you shall see. So all the team news, just a quick recap in terms of the team news roundup. I got it from Fantasy Football Cup, stream from Joe especially. Available Bradley, okay, questionable in terms of fitness and so on. Tonali, Rice, as we mentioned, he should be playing. All right. Your comments, I think Liverpool, not Murillo, Forest, DCL, Doubt, and Mecha from United. They both could be out. Dalo, Delay from United, and then Martinez to be assessed. Major doubt, most probably won't be playing. Wissa, Masquerade, and Saliba from Arsenal. Also Trossard, Mitoma, also some setback there, and Michael Keane from Everton, who are predicted O'Brien to take his place. And confirm out is Botman from Newcastle, Zimas, I think Brighton, Swansea, Burnley, Muncie, from Wolves, Gomez, Adams, and ineligible Julio from Brighton. Right. Okay. So those are the teams.
I'm I'm very sure that Mitoma and Keane are definitely out. It's not an issue. Wissa I feel has moved to a questionable rather. I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised if he was on the bench for this weekend. And if ever they want to try to get him some minutes, against Burnley sounds like a safe time to do it. They provided they are ahead in terms of winning the game. No
Right.
changes there. Other changes lah.
Okay. Stuff. Let's go to the top transfer in and out. Okay. Which is, I think, there's no surprise that I snapshot this at 8:50 a.m. Just before we stream. Mr. Phil Foden is the most transfer in this week. More than 1 million managers has brought Phil Foden into their team. Thiago, his bench last week, but we know in terms of he's the second best striker after Halim. FPL point at least 480,000 managers have brought him in. Two Newcastle asset in terms in the mode of Bruno G, 350,000, and Walter Made, 300,000 managers said to that. Want to take advantage the nice entry point against Burnley, and then Munoz, the top defender, the most scored defender in the game right now. Mr. Jan Munoz, 245,000. You get what you pay. He's 6 million right now, right? So I think that's his price right now. And the most transfer out this week, Semenyo. I think like for Foden. So I don't think it's a surprise. People had already had enough from Semenyo. Missed a penalty a few weeks back. Blank for the past 2 weeks. And 480,000 say bye-bye. But he are not involved in AFCON. So that could be Chile and against Chelsea. Then after that, United, right? And then after that, Burnley. So there's some tricky picture. Caicedo, João Pedro for Chelsea. Chelsea has Caicedo especially has suspended. João Pedro are going to 5 minutes against Delap. So then Ismail Sarr is out. And then after that, going for AFCON. And Bomo, number 5 in terms of transfer of this game week. 277,000 managers has done it. Could that be a wrong decision? Man, your takeaways.
Crazy, right? When more getting sold at this point, I felt did they lose it against the West Ham? They just had no patience. I don't know. Maybe I might do the same because in fact, I was thinking of doing the same until you told me that the AFCON players get an additional week. So it's now causing me to think again. Foden 1 million. I didn't know it was 1 million. I knew it was the top transfer, but 1 million.
Oh.
My God. I guess that's what happens when you score back to back crazy, right? Yeah. Unlike DCL who scored back to back goals, but he's not here. So yeah, other than that, Thiago, I have 3 out of the 5 top transfers in my team actually. Thiago, Bruno, and Munoz. And if you remember, I was considering Walter Mate as well, but
Yep.
we'll see what happens there. We'll talk about that later. Semenyo, no surprise if people have lost patience, and we know the slide that Bournemouth are in. In fact, it's someone I'm considering selling as well. I somehow still managed to keep him, but he still hasn't done anything for me. Pedro, yeah, your Joao Pedro, the source of frustrations worldwide, and it could be again this week, but I don't know if selling Pedro is the right move against Bournemouth this week, considering the players they have out. But yeah, no real surprises except for Mbuemo, I guess.
Okay, great. In this top transfer, you're thinking of all these players. These are the bandwagon is happening, and so you can just decide for your team. Let's take a look before on our teammate, the projection, goal, and also clean sheet odds from robtFPL and data from Pinnacle and Solio Analytics. In terms of score goals, projected goals, Man City are the highest at 2.57 against Sunderland. They scored at least 2 goals against Sunderland. Same goes for Newcastle against Burnley, 2.32. Then after that, Brighton also predicted for 2 goals against West Ham. And slightly below is Liverpool at 1.92, United 1.80. In terms of clean sheet odds, is Newcastle City at 46%. They both are predicted to keep clean sheet. Then after that, Arsenal away to Villa, although that's going to be a tough one. But there's going to be a tight game. As we can share there, in terms of goals, Arsenal predicted only 1.51. And after that, 35% Brighton and also Everton to keep the clean sheet. Then United and then after that Liverpool. So the picture is there. Graphic is Phil Foden, City to scored the highest 2.57. What do you think in terms of the projected goals and clean sheet?
Um, I always laugh when I see Liverpool there, and in terms of goal scoring, and even CS as to be high when all evidence so far this season has showed that that's not the case. But with the reputation has to something to do with it, and even with Leeds winning 3-1, sure. But Liverpool will still keep a 31% CS chances, so I don't believe in that one shot. City Sunderland, yes, that's expected. Uh, there's just a back in my at the back of my mind. I'm worried that it's going to be scored by other people instead of Haaland, just like the what happened in the Leeds match. I mean, that's something to. I mean, it's
Can happen.
irrational. It's irrational, but yeah, we've seen it happen. Newcastle is that match is the one I'm firmly believing in, to the point that I'm wondering whether I should triple up. I already have two. I brought in one, and I have two more transfers. I'm still considering that Walter made the move despite the price change, and CS at 46%. Yeah, I believe it. I brought in Tiao last week to join in for that one. Like Burnley, Burnley have lost the plot. Sorry, Scott Parker. So then Manchester United 1.8 goals against Wolves. I think it will be it should be higher, because I really think Manchester United will do well against Wolves. I think Rob Edwards bad, is the nostalgia is gone, and I don't think there's anything there. Um, see that London derby, Fulham Crystal Palace, roughly equal. So we might
Zero
see
zero
probably,
one one lah.
yeah, which we both happy with 0-0, right? So yeah. Yeah, that's it. Everton keeping a clean sheet against Forest. I don't see that happening. 35% sounds a bit too high for me. I don't like that at all. Yeah.
Right. Stuff. I think Hafiz mentioned we know Foden are going to play this time the top transfer curse. It could well happen, or it could be the one who scored instead of Haaland this game week and continue to produce double digit against Sunderland. That could be a
It's gonna be
situation.
Bernardo Silva, I swear.
Bernardo
Okay.
Silva, Reinders kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Reinders are the people we've already dumped after his
Yeah,
nonsense.
yeah,
Then the other day he did score, right? Yeah. So against Fulham, I think it was. Yeah, that he scored. Yeah. So
yeah,
watch
yeah.
watch 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 this space for Reinders comeback.
Just want to give shout out to Chogger Tempa. Thank you for joining our stream. He is thinking of triple captaining and then get fifth transfer on Gameweek 16, I suppose, right? Not 15.
16, yeah. But when you say TC, who are you looking at TCing here? Is it
I can sense that people, if
Haaland?
let's say TC, you're gonna go Haaland. I don't
Yeah.
think you're gonna touch anyone else.
The last time City were at home and they TC, they got burnt. You remember?
Ah,
Just saying, it can't happen again, man.
don't
Could
remind
it?
us.
So yeah.
That could still happen, but
Sorry, TC guys. Yeah, but I say that with laughter, but I haven't used my TC yet, so it could just very well happen to
it could
me.
happen to us. So don't jinx
Yeah,
us, okay?
exactly. So let's not laugh too much.
Right, right. These
Oh,
are
the
the
fixtures.
picture before we come into our team. This is the 7 matches in that December period up to the early
Yeah.
January. So in terms of the top ticker, United are up there. Wolves, Bournemouth, Villa, Newcastle. They are playing Wolves again in game week 19. Then Burnley and Leeds in 28-21. So no surprise there why United are in the top of the ticker. Then after that, Brentford. So you're thinking about the likes Thiago, you want to go different. Shade or Utara is going for AFCON, right? So Shade in midfield. So Brentford can actually give you some interesting favorite fixture. Spurs, Leeds, Wolf, Bournemouth, Spurs, then Everton and Sunderland. So there are 3 promoted sides there. Newcastle, you're thinking about Newcastle, right? Entry points. It's not only the best entry point, they also have excellent fixture in December until January. Burnley, Sunderland. Oh, Sunderland is going to be a tricky one. There's going to be a derby match for Newcastle. And Chelsea, United, Burnley again in the next 5. Crystal Palace and Leeds, both at home. City, excellent fixture. Why we're thinking about Foden, those kind of things? Because they have some excellent fixtures. Sunderland, Crystal Palace, plays West Ham, Forest, Sunderland, again, Chelsea and Brighton at home. Everton to some extent, Forest, Chelsea, they play Arsenal in Game week 16, but then Burnley, Forest, Brentford, and then Wolves in 21. So you're thinking about getting a player, you can pick any Everton player, say Grealish, and then leave him until the early January because of fixtures there. But in terms of the bottom three, Wolves, Leeds, and Villa are not having the best fixture in December. They're playing Arsenal. Okay, they have Liverpool. They have who else there? Crystal Palace, United.
Chelsea.
So Chelsea, Newcastle. So maybe those why they are in the bottom ticker, right? So Wayne, should we focus on the high top ticker
Oh,
team?
definitely. I mean, the thing with Villa is that they've managed. They are now third, but then they face really hard, tough fixtures. So it's very hard to look in terms of investing them, despite their really good form. Wolves, not Wolves haven't done anything, and now they have the worst. They're right at the bottom in terms of fixtures, near the bottom. So no good. Leeds being the only of those the other team to buck despite their fixtures. So we'll see whether Leeds can upset the apple cart against Liverpool. But yeah, you coming back to the top. Yeah, United there. But bear in mind they will lose Ahmad and Mbuemo and
Yeah.
Mazari within in now after game week 16. Looks like it they get to keep. So we don't know that impacts on their team, but Villa looks hard. Then Newcastle not so great. Then Wolves, Leeds, and Burnley. So obviously those of us who are more sell, and we may look to pick up players again at game week 19. But those of us with Bruno, yeah, no reason to sell at all. You're just gonna keep it all the way, aren't you? So I do like Brentford, especially now, because if you don't pick up if you haven't picked up Thiago now or won't this week, the next week onwards, definitely great. You got Leeds, Wolves, Bournemouth who are conceding like hell, Spurs defense all no longer what it used to be. So it does look good. Newcastle as well. First
Newcastle.
match Burnley, and they play Burnley again in game week 19. That's what I want to say. So very quickly, that Sunderland derby though. Wow, that. They haven't played the derby for a while. Time where they're playing it at Sunderland, the time where derby this round. That is going to make life a living hell for Newcastle and the fans, and which is why I'm hesitating in terms of my triple up despite the Burnley, because I I I I, I wouldn't be surprised if Burnley does that if Walter Mender does score against Burnley, but I need to look a bit longer and seeing with the because Sunderland then Chelsea, and again Newcastle are also in the Champions League, so I don't know who they're playing. They are playing Leverkusen away. Yeah, so Leverkusen not easy, not an easy match either. So definitely, so that's making me hesitate a bit. City there, of course, those of us who Haaland will continue. Those with us who picked up Foden now, yeah, that's something. But we did talk about this in terms of the Champions League rotation. So we have to accept if
Yep.
if it happens, it happens. Especially with City, we've seen it for a while now.
I think
Uh,
the top two, especially United and Brentford, they are not involving in the European competition. There's more merit for you to invest on those
yeah.
players.
For I just want to point out Arsenal, which is at that middle part, but they
Mm.
play Villa, which is tough, but they do play Wolves following week, which that could be a crazy trashing.
It could also be a game that they rested player, me.
Yes, yeah, I mean they can afford to, which is why it's hard because they also play midweek in the CL before they play Wolves. They could, it's the trashing is inevitable. It's just which players are involved. So that's the yeah. And Liverpool, so at the start of a couple weeks back, they were at the top of the fixture ticker.
Mm, mm.
So we've seen how that spanned out. Not great for FPL assets wise. So now they are back in the middle. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Brighton.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can see that.
Leeds, Brighton,
Spurs.
Spurs away, who are shit playing at home. Sorry. Then Wolves, Leeds,
Yeah, yeah,
Fulham. It's still not bad.
yeah,
Then Arsenal.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
Arsenal match at the end skews it lah. That's why.
Yeah, I think so. I
So,
think so.
I would still monitor if okay if you have extra transfers because yeah you need to, but you might want to look at a Liverpool player, just one. and not an expensive one. Someone
Yeah.
like Zoboslai, if you feel, but I'm
So,
not just not
so was
confident
like
to
on
recommend.
for yellow cards. So,
Then that's another problem. That has stopped me because I think 2 weeks ago I almost put him in, and then remembering that this is a rotation era. So if you get your player suspended and then you have to deal with rotations, you might end up
but I
fielding
do feel
completely.
Sosbolis is kind of like nailed on in the Liverpool team, right? From what
Yes,
I
he's
heard.
nailed on. He's been one of our best players. Yeah, and that's not saying much considering best players mean he's just consistent and he does the puts a lot of defensive work in. But it's just our players aren't scoring, and that's really hurting.
All right, we are going to into our team selection. Let's go to my team first. I have two free transfer that I'm going to use this game, and I already use it because, as we discussed, the price of Foden and Thiago keep rising. Foden are now at 8.4 and Thiago at 6.8. So I need to make my move early in Friday morning, something like that. And I already decided Foden and Thiago in the top two most transfer in this week and take out Enzo and Mateta. I had enough money or zero point 0.1 million money extra in the bank, but I need to make my move. So I did that. Now Foden already night. I got here at 8.2, so I already made some money. Yeah? So I still think that could be the right decision, although I won't rule out if, let's say, Pep decided to bench him in the odds game, but it is what it is in terms of me. So I just want to read out my team. Petrovic in goal. I'll play him over Dubravka, I suppose, away to Newcastle, who I expect to concede goal. But yeah, Petrovic could also concede goals against Chelsea, but you just never know. So I just want to trust Petrovic in this game. Timber, Anderson, and Richards who are playing each other, so that's why I want that game to end up with nil-nil. But I have option in my defense, in my on my bench. Later we touch on that. Bruno Fernandes, Foden as my vice captain. Semenyo against my club. I guess he's a big player in the big game. Minte, West Ham's, Saka, Villa, Haaland, captain, and Thiago, who I brought in against take out Mateta, Senesi, and Van der Ven on my bench. I could play Senesi, but I could play Senesi over Richards or Anderson. I'm not too sure. So Van der Ven, he has no DC points. Brentford could score, so I just think it should be on my bench. So that's my teammate.
Yeah, Fulham 0, Palace 0, right? That's
That's the target.
lovely. Everyone. Yeah. So the goalkeeper dilemma, with your
Your,
goalkeeper dilemma, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, lah. Because
yeah,
I think both games you're gonna get scored against, and um, but if you're given the choice, go for the home fixture.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's really it. Team's good. Fernandez should do well against Wolves. Then Minte, I don't know about this guy, but still he did. I mean, yeah, he's still doing the assist game. He just needs to get in the goals a bit more. But anyway, if he's returning, what the hell, right? So Saka, who was benched, now he gets back to the starting lineup. So Arteta pulled off the substitute rotation game, played the rotation game well this time. If you remember last season, he would have played Saka midweek anyway. Yeah,
Mm,
so he's figured that out, and of course now the return to fitness of Madueke back, so that's
yeah,
definitely helped as well. So
yeah.
Saka then, and I can see him doing well. Semenyo is the one I'm not sure with the Bournemouth
Fair.
will find a way back. But looking at the highlights, his positioning is not bad. He's still getting into moving fast and going to goal scoring positions. Just bear in mind that this is his second game after he returned from injury. Last week, midweek, he returned from injury. But then he ended up playing 90 minutes anyway. I'm just a bit at the back of
Okay.
my mind is a bit concerned. Yeah, how many
Yeah.
minutes he'll get for this one. But they can't bench him if he's fit. Maybe they'll take him off early if if
Yeah.
if if Bournemouth are doing well.
My
I just
question
want
to
to ask
you.
with
Yeah.
wait. I just want to ask if you considered moving Mark Gui to the first sub. Um, I
Uh,
don't. what do you think? Do you think there's possibility of Chelsea starting Guyu instead for this
I,
week because of how they lost?
I don't think so. I think Delap or Joe Pedro will start up front over Gu. He will always
Okay,
be a forwarder, one pointer, something like that.
okay,
So
fair
I
enough.
feel I'm going to play Senesi and Van der Ven as my first and second sub. But the more important question, me, would you change my defense lineup? Would you play Anderson Richards, or you are thinking whether I should consider Senesi and Van der Ven into my team?
Senesi is going to be very busy. I can guarantee that. Um, I just think because Fulham did score 4 goals last week, and they but conceded 5, but it was against City lah. So
Anderson, you mean Anderson, right?
Anderson, yeah,
Right.
Anderson, yeah. So
But
it's a
Anderson has GC points, and I don't know.
yeah, Anderson has DC points. Okay. Tell you what, I will go for the home team. I will put Senesi in instead of Richards.
I I have that thought, but that also can also be potentially Bournemouth lose to Chelsea and concede a goal, but Crystal Palace won against Fulham 1-0, so there is potential that Palace can still keep clean sheet against
Yeah, I just think
Fulham.
that for Richards, Crystal Palace, and Bournemouth will both concede, but I think Senesi will win out in terms of points.
Okay, understand? I'll think about that for sure. Let's see.
Good luck.
So let's go to your teammate. I think you have 3 free transfer and you already used one, if I'm right.
Yep. So I've used one transfer. Okay. So my team: Donnarumma, Thiaw, Timber, Munez, Semenyo, Enzo, Mbeumo, Cunha, Bowen, Thiago, Haaland, and then Dubravka, KDH, Bala, and Diouf. Okay. So yeah, I'm putting Donnarumma back in for this one. It's just yeah. You know, can't play the same game twice. I think I'm happy with my Tiao, Timber, and Munez in terms of my defense. I'm
I
wondering
agree.
about Balat with you know I'm worried that there's a back of my mind is worried that they might end up conceding but not getting any DEFCON. But now that Timber looks like he could be in the centre back role, I'm tempted to keep because if Villa who are in form can score, but if Timber gets his DEFCON, then he's still better pick over Balat, who will probably get DEFCON as well. So my move has been I have sold Enzo for
Oh,
Bruno G. So they both the same price actually. I just realized I
okay,
didn't
all
realize.
right. Okay.
But of course the one of the reasons is because it does look and based on what I saw midweek that Enzo he's still getting into some scoring positions, but he is definitely playing deeper. Yeah, so not which is not great for his prospects. And we saw that Palmer came in midweek in the sub, so if he continues, then it reduces Enzo. So bye bye Enzo for now. You've not been that great with me, but I think you've been better than other people who picked him after he scored last time. So he's off. Then Semenyo, Mbuemo, Cunha, and Bowen. Okay, Thiago and Haaland are staying. Bowen is someone I'm looking to get rid of as well as Diouf. Yeah, because my two West Ham passengers in my team. So Bowen I could technically sell for Walter Mede if I wanted to go for that triple up, and Diouf I will sell for Anderson. So definitely something that's possible.
Okay, all right.
So I can do just that. But I mean, the problem there is that I'm keeping my one of my someone who's become a favorite of mine, KDH, on the bench. But it
Okay,
is
understand.
again, yeah. But KDH also has this problem because now they got this idiot team Iragunam and Goye injured, which means that he may play even deeper role because he is sometimes he's capable of doing
Mm,
that. We've seen that when playing with when he was with Leicester, he does play in a deep lying role. So I have to accept that reality based on what's happened with the team, and people because he's played deeper than players like another favorite of mine, McNeil, may come in and he would be expected to take on the creative duties. Um, so that's one option, and part of me is wondering about your player, Hafiz. Uh,
Foden.
Palmer.
Palmer, no. Palmer is not fit yet.
I'm wondering about that. So I'm looking at
No.
it. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. But of course, to do that, it means I have to find money somewhere. So let's say, for example, I sell someone like, okay, because one thing I consider was selling Umbuemo, buying Palmer, and then dropping Bowen to an unplayable, because that's the only way I can afford. But then it allows me to bring KDH back up into the starting lineup and just have bench players. So, but honestly speaking, I did like what I saw in his cameo, but whether or not it's enough, and whether or not he can immediately score this week, because I do look at that Chelsea Bournemouth match as potentially high scoring match. It's just that who's gonna do it lah? That's the problem. Yeah, and I've already sold Enzo, so I have no Chelsea players. Yeah, but
I
as
also don't have any Chelsea players.
yeah, but you, yeah, just like me not having Liverpool players, I guess. Yeah, and part of me was already also looking at Umbuemo as a possible option to sell, because knowing that he's going to AFCON. But then now that you say that he's got additional weeks, so I've ruled out selling Umbuemo. Gonna keep him all the way. Cunha, of course, is playing against his old club. It's
Yep,
hard for
yep,
me.
yep.
It's hard for me to sell.
Yeah. I
So
think the
yeah,
option that you have right now, like you mentioned, I think that's can be a correct one, which is Bowen and DF out to get those player like Multimedia
Walter
and
Mende and this.
which is I like it. Okay.
Do you agree that I bench KDH?
I think you have to
Who
do
else,
that
right?
because look at who
Yeah.
else unless
Who else am I gonna
you
bench?
you tr- you trust Drew Hall over Thiago, but Thiago can easily meletup. So I
No way.
don't think. Mm.
Yeah. And
And you
speaking of
have to play those. I think you have to play those United players against Wolves. So you
Can
get, and then
Itulah.
you already brought in Bruno G. So you have to play it. Unless do you dare to bench Semenyo over KDH?
It's something I've considered, yes, given Semenyo's poor form. Um, so yeah, I'll see. Well, yeah, that's
Okay,
something.
all right.
Let's
So
see.
if
Let's assume I go for the Walter Mede and Anderson move. So then I just need to decide to bench with Semenyo and KDH. That's
I
something
think
I'll
I
have.
like that move. I think I like that move a lot because you despite you thinking maybe Newcastle nanti ada some task feature rotations or Walter Media could meletup next week. I think that's the most important thing. So
Okay, I'm
you just take that. Take that.
I'm legally obligated to also mention I'm in my head. I'm considering another alternative captaincy to Haaland this week. So I just want to put it out there. Of course, I think it's totally insane, but I have to.
Don't go any United player, please.
Oh, no, not United player. I feel like I want to go back on to Thiago again, even though he's playing away. So let's
Mm.
see. Let's see how he. It's two reasons. One, because they come back with a full strength lineup, which is better, and the other
If
thing
you
is
ask
just
me, you want to go to prime Newcastle has potentially can win big against Burnley, and you can go for Bruno G or Otomade. I won't stop you there.
yeah. The thing with Bruno G is that he doesn't have penalties, and I don't know if he takes any set pieces. So I
Not
need that.
really.
I need that additional. And the problem with Walter Mede is he doesn't take penalties. It doesn't. It's still Gordon who's taking
He
penalties.
take penalty if Gordon not around lah.
If Gordon's not around, yeah. So that's the thing. When I look at Newcastle Burnley match, yeah, it's great, but do I captain? I don't know. Yeah. So yeah. So that's I just put it out there in case I
Okay.
suddenly change by 8:30 my
But
captaincies on
I'll
Thiago.
give you another alternative. I know you might not like it.
No, I won't.
You have two free transfer, which is excellent. You can just
Yes,
take
correct.
up the player. Okay. I know like someone like Bowen that you want to move him on Diop, but
Yes.
could also potentially Semenyo one of the player that you're going to take out?
Yes, I could.
Could
I've been
be right.
considering taking him out since 3 weeks ago. If you remember that I've been benching him as well because I
I
wasn't
know
sure.
you don't like this idea. The most transfer in this week, which is Foden, you might not like that idea, but
Yep.
can Foden one of your potential to
No,
come in?
I've ruled Foden out. I know it's crazy. I've ruled Foden out seriously, and
Okay, fine.
I can't
So
see him in my
if
team.
let's say you already ruled that out, then you go Baltimore and Anderson. I think I like the idea.
Okay, all right. Let's see how we go. Yep.
All right. All right, we're coming to the end of the stream, but before we go off, I just want to point out FPL Jedi League, man. Our Jedi League. If you want to join our community, the league code is zwxrhj. The top table right now is Beto, no longer red to Liverpool, who dropped at 8th
Yep.
place right now. And Beto is an Arsenal fan, and his team is on the right side there. He has the Sunderland keeper, Royce. He has Virgin, Van Dijk, and Gakpo from Liverpool side. Gakpo is excellent. I believe it. Munoz 40 points. Timber. He has really investing in that back lineup. Virgil, Munoz, and Timber. He has Gakpo, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Doku, not Foden. And Bruno G. And he has Mateta and Haaland up front. And on his bench, he has Chaloba as potential coming as a rotation. He has Fleming. Wow, Fleming also is under radar. After that, Lyle Foster going off for AFCON, Fleming will play, right? So Achampong, as I don't think he's a non-player at 3.9, 3.8 right now. So can be a good team. No double up in Arsenal. No Saka, no Rice, no nothing.
Yeah, it's good, and I like the idea because Arsenal look like they don't look like high scoring team right now. I think they just feel like more focused on defending well. You know, they're not gonna score loads. Akiampong, I think, don't you think he might end up coming back into the starting lineup after Tosin's fun and games?
There's
So
rotation risk, rotation risk.
yeah, but the rotation risk is there, and at that price, yeah, you shouldn't be too upset when he gets rotated. Then Gakpo's there. I'm interested to see what they do this week. As you know, and if you notice, his second city is not Foden but Stoku. Would he also look at bringing that in? So I don't know, but yeah, but we wrote to Liverpool. We saw the worries that we had when we looked at their team a couple of weeks back. In terms of what they do. I don't know what they've done since, but yeah, I think we predicted that they're gonna have problems there. But yeah, well done to all of the top 10, which is now which you are in there at the moment. So good luck. Hope you stay in and go further up as well.
At that place, I just want to give a shout out to the top 10. 1, 2, 3 go at second. S11 Yara Spartans, AJ Dragon, Ren FC, 2020 FPL Champions, FPL Joe Champion Helmi, Red 2 Liverpool dropped to 8th place after holding so long at first place in our league. Jeram and Mary FC, and now Alhamdulillah, but dropping to 10.
Yeah,
Previously,
you were midweek. You were higher, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but that
I love
Haaland, yeah.
I
Go
love
ahead.
I love number 6, 2026 FPL champion. I love the confidence. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the top of this league first. Then we can talk. So good luck. Good luck to everyone. Well done everyone for being there. I'm not there. Hopefully we'll see. Masa masih panjang.
Yes. Coming to the end of our stream, man. Your last word for this game week 15, which everyone need to use up their transfer.
Yeah. So if you really love your team, then don't transfer. You don't have to burn your transfers. Don't burn for the sake of burning. It has to be improving whatever you think. But half the time you should be able to find some way of improving. For
Yes, for
example, you
sure, for
even
sure.
even if it's your reserve keeper, Dubravka, you felt it's not yet. Look at that, or even dropping like myself with Donnarumma, who's priced so much, but not not exactly being the stellar pick. Those are things that we should consider.
Hmm, hmm.
So good luck, and remember, then following weekend we will have 5 new transfers. So we do have the thing is we will despite um, FPL players now getting an additional week before they go to AFCON. The 5 transfers isn't going to move to game week 17. It's still here, so it's still there. So which means we do have that it does provide us with a bit of advantage in terms of what we do with our transfers. So I think it will help. And of course, that means those of you who are Salah, you can still roll the dice and keep him a bit longer. But other than that, all the best, and may your arrow be a green one this week.
Interesting. Use up your even if I got another spare transfer, I will make my goalkeeper transfer for sure. Petrovic to someone which is better. So, but I don't have that luxury and take it there. So I guess you can find some room in terms of improving your team and use up all your free transfer. Imagine next week, man, when you have 5 free transfer, you need to use one of it at least next week. If not, you're going to burn it. So interesting.
Okay.
So until then, we shall see again next week in our normal stream, hopefully. And take care, everyone. Good luck to you all. And may the force be with you. Take care, everyone.
Always.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.